Hey guys, welcome back to Kuma Reviews. What we're taking a look at is the War Machine Mark II, and this one's from Iron Man 3. And what's weird is that even though it says it's from Iron Man 3, it can't be from Iron Man 3 because War Machine wasn't in Iron Man 3. Even though he used the password War Machine Rocks with an X, all caps, the actual War Machine suit wasn't in there. It was repainted to the Iron Patriot for, storyline-wise, the more family-friendly look and things like that, not associated with war, etc., etc. But this was something that was supposed to be in the movie, apparently, got taken out, but Hot Toys was still able to go ahead and make it because it had been designed and things like that. But the difference between this and the Age of Ultron release, even though there are some minor paint differences and things like that in terms of application, tampos, etc., because it was officially in Age of Ultron, etc., but this one doesn't come with the unmasked head, and I asked why, and the seller actually told me it's because of licensing issues and things like that, because they aren't allowed to show anything that's not actually designed, shown, etc., so since this was apparently in an unused scene, they can make a toy out of it for Iron Man 3, but since Don Cheadle wasn't shown in the suit, yada yada, they couldn't take it that far. So rather than an unmasked head, at least for the SideShow exclusive, it comes with a clear hologram of the War Machine Mark I. It's not a posable piece or anything like that, no articulation to it, it's just a little clear War Machine Mark I for absolutely no reason at all. You also see the stand behind it. We'll take a look at that in a bit. And this is very bare bones. Just a variety of hands here. They're all open hands. Well, these can be closed if you want. They're the articulated hands. One repulsor blast hand for the right hand. Two just plain open hands. And a missile launcher for the forearm. Now taking a look at the figure itself. This is actually quite a bit smaller than the War Machine Mark III, which measured at 12 3/4 inches tall. This one's actually just over 12. It's about 12 1/4. So about a ½ inch in between it and the Mark III there, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah. Get this guy up on the turnstile real quick. Give you all a roundabout here. And I will say, I am not the biggest fan of this suit movie-wise, but toy-wise, this looks great. Hot Toys actually knocked it out of the park, and I like it better than I did in movie form. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Pretty standard fare. Gimmicks-wise, it is 1-for-1 like the Diecast Iron Man Mark 45, which I just reviewed recently as well. Which makes sense, so Age of Ultron era-ish toys. And I got a feeling when I get the Mark 43, I think that's coming in next week, it'll likely, have the same articulation and gimmicks and stuff like that too. So the head does the traditional kind of slide back and forth thing. .360, it's on the ball joint there. And there is some wiggle room where the neck meets the clavicle there, too. Alright, shoulder pieces. Let's take a look. It doesn't look like they do the, have that pivot that lets them go in and out and whatnot. So it kind of looks like it just, if it's a ball joint in there, I can't exactly see what it is. There is some wiggle room, but not a lot. So let's see this whole thing. .360. Alright. And not a ton of room to get that parallel up, which is unfortunate. Alright. Bicep swivel. .360. Alright, so you got the elbow joint there. It's about 90 degrees. The instructions did say you could pull it down, so let's see. That was actually already pulled down, so... Alright, so it is a double elbow in there, but it's not too far past 90 degrees, to be honest with you. Alright, put that guy back. Pretty cool stuff, though, with the elbow there, too. Alright, we'll look at the waist here. So naturally, little bit of ab crunch. You see this part here collapses inside, kind of like the War Machine Mark III. Most of the swivel is in this upper part here. But he does have that 2 points of expansion there. Again, this part collapses some. And a good amount more inward and outward bend. So make sure to press that in before you go in so you don't overlap anything or anything like that. But let's see. A little bit more swivel down here. Not much, but definitely in the upper part. Alright. Take a look at the legs. And the hands are just on ball joints. So, I mean, swivel and a little bit of rock, but nothing too crazy. These two parts move. There is a hinge there, and they also swing out. So, without the legs being pulled down, that's the front, that's the back, that's the side. So these, you can pull that down, and you see back here, that section actually pulls down. And we won't worry about that. That just pegs it in and out. There's no lock to it. We'll look at that in a minute when we look at the gimmicks. But making sure those will pull down. So now we have more back, more forward, and these parts do move as well. I didn't even notice that. Alright. Outward, just not a lot because of how the hip meets that crotch area. Swivel, it's there, but because of the hip armor, doesn't do a lot. Okay. Double jointed knees, that nice ratchet in the bottom part of that. I actually love that. Very clicky. These parts move in and out. They feel kind of flimsy though. This moves up. That part does not move. Forward, back. Front moves up. Ankle tilt. Not a ton of ankle tilt. It'd be nice if these feet pulled down for it, but just not a ton there. But just to get him into a more pronounced stance, using some of that extension in the leg. Actually peg his gun back on. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at gimmicks. Just like the Mark III, that piece comes off the top of his head. Then there's a switch for his eye lights. We're just going to leave these on for the rest of the review because why not? Clip that back on. Alright. So the chest light here, there's a panel here in the back, comes off. This piece is diecast, so watch out because when it drops, it's not heavy like hurt you heavy, but you don't want to chip paint or anything like that. Alright, so really bright lights as you can see. And the only other lights are his forearms. So the switches are on different parts for each arm. And you don't have to take that hand off, but I want to show you the light. The switch on that side. And this switch is actually underneath the forearm there. So peg this guy out. And really simple pegs, nothing crazy like the Iron Man. Really simple forearm panels. They unpeg very easily. So, okay. Now I'll turn off some lights so you can see how bright they are. Good stuff. Like I said, we're just gonna leave those on. Let's see if I can peg this without having to be on the same side of them. Yep, easy stuff. Pegging that back piece on. And I'll show you guys the alternate armor. A little blaster right there. There we go. Now, his gun. This is kind of weird. They try to emulate the fact that it can slide throughout there, but you really can't slide it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas for you to peg it in on. like so, or like so. Even though it's on the instructions like this too, so there's no sliding. Don't try to slide it, you'll break something. All right, so the gun itself, 360, and I'm actually gonna peg it in there. Then this part right there, and from there take that top part, and it is a full 360. And if you don't want to see it, you can swing the whole thing downwards too. We'll take a look at some poses and get you guys out of here. Nothing crazy here, just showing off that extended blaster deal missile launcher off of his forearm. Gun on the back extended. Just kind of a heroic pose. And so yeah, that hand that I thought was a repulsor blast, as soon as I put it on, I realized it was a saluting hand. So here he is saluting. My bad. It makes 100% sense, especially with this being the Iron Patriot armor as well. And here's a flight pose. Repulsor blasted. Stand actually works pretty well, but just like other Hot Toy stands, the grippers just don't properly grip all the way around them. I wish they were a little bit longer so you could get around the character and around some of this armor and stuff like that. But they're good for what they're worth. Holds them pretty well. And one thing about the stand, zoom out a little bit, it actually has an LED function. It's hard for me to show you guys because the switch is underneath, but switch comes on. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, and closing it out, I've got him next to the War Machine Mark III from Captain America Civil War. I'm not gonna lie, the War Machine Mark III might just be my personal, I guess in terms of toys that I've gotten this year so far, toy of the year by a country mile, so it's not even fair comparing them because the engineering and things like that, I just think it's an amazing piece. But for what it's worth, the Mark II is a very good iteration of a costume or a suit that I really didn't like too much in the movies. In fact, I like the Hot Toy a lot better than I did seeing this suit in Age of Ultron. So far, the Mark III still my winner. The Mark I diecast actually comes tomorrow, and I didn't say that this is actually a diecast piece as well. Thought it was common sense because there was no other Mark II made. But yeah, not quite as hefty as the Mark III, but still pretty hefty in its own right, and lots of articulation and stuff like that to it. I would say the thing that it has over the Mark III is that there's a better feel to it. It's a lot, I don't want to say easier to handle because it's not like the Mark III is hard, but it's a lot more comfortable when handling, when actually playing and things like that, while still feeling like a high-end toy. But anyway, again, Iron Man 3, War Machine Mark II. This has been another Kuma Style review. Check out the full breakdown article and gallery on kumastyle.com. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.